It's bullshit. Like, I'm not saying literally take music in its entirety and replay it as though it's your own song and make money off of it.
Love your stream.
Because that is like very clearly
about the world
that is very clearly just sharking someone else's hard work, especially if you're not adding anything on top of it. But even if you are a DJ, for example, even if you're a DJ and you put a song in your set, I find it so silly to like to attack that DJ. You know? Or to even attack the venue. The venue pays you to do that. Again. There's value to intellectual property, but it favors large corporations over small creators. The people whose copyright most infringed upon are small creators, but since they don't have power to do anything against it, they get screwed over by both individuals and large corporations who steal their work. Like, playing music for me would not improve this stream. Like, I don't have this audience that I have currently because I play music, and playing music would not increase the amount of people that are in my audience. It would probably make it a little bit more fun if I played songs every now and then from time to time. But I still find it ridiculous that that this is the kind of application for this is just clearly a gross expansion on maybe a well-intentioned law that was created to benefit small independent artists at some point, and it's not. And it's gotten completely out of hand by big business. Anyway. Okay. Capitalists love exploiting the fruits of a worker's labor, but if you try to add value to their work, and in most cases not even try to profit off of it, you are a thief. The double think from corporations is papela. I don't necessarily think it's double think. If that's the only thing that they do, and if that is literally how they make money, then of course they're going to stop others from making money in what they otherwise believe is a nearly identical way. Laws on intellectual property make it easily usable as long as it's original content, meaning that the original has been altered by at least 10%, I believe.
Hassle.
In fact, it affects you negatively that you can't play music because there's content we skip or mute because of potential strikes. Yeah, I mean, that is the only reason why I get frustrated by this stuff is that it can it completely clap my cheeks. Anyway, I don't care about Noam Chomsky. And his takes on it. It's to protect artists' income. Many artists survive on royalties and licensing. Dude, that's not... Dude, like, artists make a fraction of a fucking penny, dude. Please stop. Like, it's not protecting artists at all. It's literally the cultivation of a middle manager, a parasitic industry on top of an industry that is already parasitic, that makes all of its money off the backs of artists and their labor. Okay? Record labels are parasitic because They already exploit the artists, especially when they're most vulnerable. And then this is just the creation of a separate entity that is a mid-level manager in between the record labels and the publishers outside of the record labels, outside of that industry. None of this is about giving the artist a single extra penny. It's not. Self-exposing take? Record labels are the ultimate middleman. They're the middleman between artists and recording studios, producers, songwriters. Yes, and then this has created a separate industry. Content ID has created a separate industry that specifically focuses on being the bridge between being like the fucking enforcers for the record labels.
Smile.
And we cannot envision a world beyond it. Like, we can't even see it. Logic played his own music on a stream and the VOD got muted. It's literally not for the artist. Yeah, it's crazy. If that was the case, then artists themselves could be able to freely play their own music. And they can't. So
Love ya, Hussein. Top
just
tier him,
remember
educator.
that.
Time for doing what you doing.
Yeah, and the same goes for medical patents too. That's another area where it's even worse. Because the output isn't even like entertainment or what you could consider to be like a luxury good or something, whereas health is there is inelastic demand for health, and like medical patents literally inhibit growth in really meaningful ways too. Okay, anyway, let's do it. Slightly related, but doctors write for Astro journals, which put our work behind a paywall. Surprise, surprise, we make nothing out of it. We give our work to reach more eyes, etc., but the journals make money off of it. If anyone wants my paper, I can just send it for free without the journal sending a CND. What does this dog shit Elon take? I absolutely support trans, but all these pronouns are an aesthetic nightmare. The way you named your child after an iPhone strong pass. Jesus Christ, that's so good. Oh, fuck. Which as a medium is going to be more liberating towards creators with music you watch? We'll see.
Can you watch Critical's new video on
Yo, I made the
default?
shirt you are wearing. I watch your stream every day and was fucking stoked when I tuned in today and saw that you're wearing it. Thanks for using your platform for good and helping me raise money for applicable charities. See, using sharing artists does work for us. Shocking, right? Uh-oh. Elizabeth Huddy is about to fucking DMCA me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm wearing your t-shirt. I'm making the stream better right now by wearing this t-shirt. I should be wearing a I should be wearing a shirt that says nothing on it. It's just a black t-shirt because I didn't pay for the royalties to wear this t-shirt. It's a copyrighted t-shirt. I am profiting. I am exploiting the artist right now. Notice how I'm exploiting the artist by wearing this t-shirt. That is the future that you are advocating for. Oh my God, no fucking wear it, my dude. No, I'm joking. We were talking about how ridiculous these proposals are. Can someone send me that the other thing that we were talking about? The moral deficiency thing? I believe the moral deficiency policy dictates something entirely different than what you guys originally thought it was, by the way.
In other North Carolina politician news, my state Senator Bob Steinberg is currently calling for Trump to suspend civil liberties and invoke Marshall Mathers law. Has Chud.
Oh, content that expresses inferiority based on protected characteristic, including but not limited to statements related to physical, mental, or moral deficiencies, support of or promotion of outdated discriminatory genetic and anthropological theories, including eugenics, claims of divine sanction for hostility towards a protected group, negative statements related to mental health, protected characteristic is a form of insanity, negative statements about related to hygiene are all smelly. Yeah, this is, again, it is just about, this is the most important part of it. Okay, what you have to remember is the most important part of this is just whatever is considered to be a protected characteristic or a protected group. So it means you can't call someone a sociopath or psychopath. No. No, you can't say women are just worse at gaming. That's it. Or, you know, like someone with a mental disability is worse at gaming. Or someone with a disability is worse at gaming. Or black people are just worse at gaming. Like, you can't say those things. But being a Republican is not considered a protected group. So if I say conservatism is a brain disease, like that's not a part of any sort of a protected group. Same with liberalism. Yet, by the way, yet. Like, you can say Smash players smell bad. Yeah, like, it's a joke. No one says that seriously. There isn't, like... And incels are not protected either, I don't think. Brain disease itself, the protected group. Yes, people with actual brain disease would be a part of the protected group. Yes, I think. I assure you we are very serious. What? Yet, by the way. Yeah, I'm saying yet on purpose because they probably will, because...
No-ism is a protected group.
Content that implies another contemporary culture is primitive? No, a contemporary culture in that situation isn't conservatism. Like, listen, dude, you can say, here's a good example. You can say Nazis are smelly. You can say Nazis are useless. You can say fascists are fucking stupid. You can say fascists are bad at gaming. You can say conservatives are bad at gaming. You can say conservatives don't have drip. Okay? So far, they are not protected. Okay? But if you imply that, like, Russians are primitive,
like,
or if you imply that, like, indigenous populations are primitive or barbaric, that's what they're trying to protect here. Okay? They're not trying to protect intolerant people from being dunked on or being laughed at. They're trying to stop people from making fun of people in the exact same ways that you do already, that most people do already. Conservative ideology is primitive because it's literally it literally revolves around conserving. No, chud is not outlawed. You say Falun Gong is insane? I think probably, yeah. Falun Gong is... Okay, you can say... Great example, actually. So, when I say the Falun Gong cult, which is a cult that is homophobic and believes that miscegenation should be illegal and all this other shit that literally funds alt-right groups all around the world, okay, including in the United States of America, when I say Those guys are fucking psychos. That's entirely different than saying every single Chinese person is a psycho. When you say every single Chinese person is a psycho, then you are reaching territory that is borderline, if not completely unacceptable, because it is bigoted and it's xenophobic and it's, well, it's xenophobic specifically. Okay? Falun Gong, on the other hand, is very targeted. It's very direct. It's literally a cult. Do you understand? That's the difference. A persecuted religious minority. Yeah, you can make that. Oh, by the way, you can make that same argument about fucking Scientology as well, just for the record. It's a silly one. And if I get clapped because I said something about Falun Gong, or if I get clapped because I said something about fucking Scientology in a similar capacity and it's deemed offensive, then yeah, okay, well, I guess I got fucking banned then. Ridiculous. Completely fucking ridiculous. Why is it that every time you bring up Falun Gong, people say tankies? I don't know. The important thing is that they are recognized by the U.S. government as a persecuted religious minority, which means they're fucked. Yeah, that's a political reason for why they have that. So, yeah, sucks. Maybe I'll get banned for it then. Fucking bullshit, though.
Shit, did my stream freeze? Never mind. Has pause.
What about groups within ideologies like black conservatives? Again, that revolves around conservatism. Them being black is not the subject of the criticism. Them being conservative is. If you are criticizing black people on the virtue of them being black, then that's racist. If you are criticizing black conservatives on the virtue of them being conservative, that is not racist. That's just you criticizing conservatives. Okay? The protected status is applicable to their race, not their ideology or not their worldview, especially when their worldview is overall one that revolves around intolerance. People here are being purposely obtuse about things. Not everyone is in a protected group. Yeah.
So under the new guidelines, is the Nameless King a part of a protected group?
Is there any thoughts in your head that this is a push for Twitch to move more back into a gaming scene? No. I think Twitch loves having non-gaming content on their platform. I think they celebrate it. They like it. I think this is just Twitch trying to be more accommodating and maybe going a little over the top. And by the way, a lot of this stuff isn't. A lot of this stuff is just re-explaining things that already are in existence. Falun Gong, I just Googled it and literally everything says some spiritual movement. You're coping so hard? Why am I coping? You yell a lot on streaming today. My brother said you were left-wing Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, well, I don't fucking sexually harass my assistants, though. And also haven't made a killing off of promoting white supremacist agitation. Outside of that, though, I don't see a problem with like saying I'm like I sometimes use left-wing Limbaugh in a way to describe what I do. And the reason why I do that is because these are incredibly successful content creators. Using psycho derogatorily, for example, against nutty chuds would be abusing a protected classification mental illness. No, 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 no. That is an expansion on ableism, okay? That is an expansion on ableism that we're not there yet. We will maybe one day get there, but that is absolutely fucking beyond the pale. I consider that to be an unacceptable overreach. We can still be ableist. Yes, you are psychotic if you think that we can't use psychotic because now it is considered to be ableist because it stigmatizes people with mental disabilities who are sociopathic. Then you can't say someone is a pedophile either. Like, come on, it's maps time. Is that what we're doing now?
Hasanabi God.
Get to it. Come on. Let's have that conversation too. Is it fucking? Are we there now? Are we doing map shit? That's ableist. I see what you mean. Good point. It's an association instead of explicitly targeting their individual class. Realistically, it's very unlikely this new policy will strictly enforce. The changes are being made to give Twitch cover when they ban egregious cases or people who are trying to game the previous conduct policy. I don't even know who the fuck was trying to game the previous conduct policy because the previous conduct policy was already pretty rigorously applied.
He wouldn't even advance on Daily Dose of Hasanabi despite how good he looks in the profile photo on YouTube.
You're on the front page of Reddit from a clip on LSF earlier? Oh.
So, using terms like simp, incel, or virgin as an insult to negatively refer to another person's sexual activity is not allowed under this new policy. And in addition to the policy change, we're also proactively denying emotes that include the term simp, and we'll remove them when reported, and we'll keep doing that once the policy changes.
What? Good clip, guys. If only Mixer had been like 1 to 2 years later. Wasn't Mixer like worse, more safe, or kid-friendly back then? 10th floor cubicle corporate office worker applying 10th floor cubicle corporate office community guidelines on the internet. Yeah.
Protected class includes age guess, boomer memes are dead sad.
The song can't be a douche anymore. Yeah, I know. I love when people who express their horrific worldview that oftentimes revolves around being violently misogynistic towards women get correctly pointed out as incels, and that is actually the real bullying, and not necessarily living in a fucking hug box where no one calls you out for that kind of behavior. That is great, dude. I can't believe Hassan's being a douche to me because I think women are inferior to men is exactly the reason why we are fucking criticizing Twitch about this insane overreach. If the moderate part of the Democratic Party were condensed down to a single person, it would be an HR rep at a large corporation. Yeah. I don't agree with what she's saying, but it sounded pretty fucking clear what you couldn't say. You're missing the part of insulting people's terms and sexual preferences a bit. That can be used as vaguely as you want to. And this is extreme, not like this is actually a case. I bet you like that, huh? In a joking form could be taken as an insult. Again, extreme, but I hope that can get the idea across. Hassan, the problem bothering me is corporations normally alter their policies for profit, and this can go bad pretty quick after target audiences change someone in the future. Going to defend the oppressed incel teens whose oppression and fury is not getting their dick wet instead of the actual oppressed communities. It's so weird, dude. Oh. Anyway, Twitch is really catering to most of their audience with this shit. What I will not understand and cannot understand is why Twitch would do this, considering the reality that they are already incredibly marketing friendly. Like, they are incredibly marketer friendly. Anyway, let's get back to other news. Are they protecting incels because most users spend their money on this platform? No. We already did the Tom Tillis stuff. Violently misogynist 20-something men who don't shower are 21st century's greatest martyrs. We got to look out for them. Here's a question. Do you think Italians as a protected group, like I'm Italian, Italian-American past filled with racial violence from white Americans, but now I'm white passing and don't experience racial violence other than stereotyping this sometimes annoying mafia herder? No, that's why I literally make fun of like Italian-Americans routinely, because it's like one of the few things that you can, or at least we thought that you could like make jokes about, and it's mostly celebrated by Italian-Americans themselves. But I don't know if we'll be able to do that anymore. I'm sure that like my sentiment on, you know, Irish Americans are inherently police officers. Like they're genetically predisposed to being police officers, which is clearly a fucking joke and is not serious. Will not be seen as something that you can joke about anymore. I'm Italian, I think it's hilarious. Yeah, like the joke itself started off. The joke itself started off as like Chris Cuomo personally linking what do you call it? Personally linking fucking being it's like being called Fredo to the N-word. Like, that's where it started, because it's like lighthearted in nature and nowhere near comparable. You're gonna turn into Dave Chappelle, or are you triggered?
Senator Mark Warner. He was a member of that bipartisan group behind the COVID relief effort. He's also the vice chairman of the Intelligence Committee. Senator Warner, I was almost calling you Mr. Warner. Let's talk about what's in this deal. The direct stimulus, can you put a number on that?
Well, first of all, let's look at the overall deal. It's about $900 billion. So while this is targeted in an interim deal, literally its size, this will be the second largest piece of federal legislation in our history. The CARES bill was the biggest. This is second biggest. This is larger than even what happened after the 2008 financial crisis. It provides food assistance. It provides rental assistance. It provides unemployment.
Well, I got to pee. I'll be back.
Broadband. It provides help for child care centers. I think we have targeted those areas most in need. I don't have the exact number yet on the direct stimulus. I would have preferred having money go straight to state and local governments, and I do fear that some of the direct stimulus payments was actually taken out of some of the expanded unemployment benefits. So I frankly felt getting money to people that were unemployed was a higher priority than giving a check to somebody who maybe makes a couple $150,000 a year and has seen no economic loss. That doesn't seem very progressive to me, but there were voices on the far left and far right that said these checks are more important than some of these other priorities. So there will be checks. I believe it's $600 per individual. And again, that would be roughly in the $140 billion range in terms of total cost.
Did I hear you correctly? That money is being taken out of, or maybe taken out of, how much money goes to unemployment benefits?
Yeah, we have in our unemployment, the bipartisan plan, 16 weeks of both increased unemployment for people who were expiring from their unemployment the day after Christmas. It included the 16 weeks for the gig workers, independent contractors.
Fuck.
Most in need. I think because the president and even some folks that call themselves progressives wanted stimulus checks more important than that assistance. You had to take it out of some pot, and I'm afraid that the relief for the unemployed may be a shorter period of time. But again, none of these are perfect deals. I wish my Republican colleagues.
Every time a Democratic or Republican congressperson talks about relief, they literally sound like, what is it, Lucy Bluth, like the mom? Oh, how much could a banana cost, Michael? $60? Like, that's what they sound like every time. Lucille Bluth, yeah. I don't get it. I mean, how much money do you need? How much money could you possibly need? I mean, rent is like, what, $10 or something? I don't know. Why do you need $600? This guy's not serious. I love how he pretends that the greatest expenditures for this relief bill are unemployment / direct payments. So malicious.
And willing to simply plus up the 900.
No, unemployment and direct payments are, if they were fully, if they got actually exactly the $1,200 for every single person, it would be the greatest expenditure. I'm pretty sure. This guy looks like the kid who got suspended in middle school for going into the girls' locker room. Can't say. I don't even know if you can say that. I don't know.
To shout out my dog. We put her down today because of a tumor. Thanks for the work you do, Hassan. Rest in peace, Danica.
R.I.P. man.
That is in this aid, but I'm very proud of the bipartisan work that was done, because let's face it, 3 weeks ago we were nowhere. 3 weeks ago Congress was about to leave town as the ultimate Grinches before Christmas, as people would have lost their unemployment right after Christmas. They would have been kicked out of their apartments on January 2nd. We saw those lines at the food banks. They would have simply gotten worse. And
wait, but it's already happening because the previous relief was not enough. So what's the argument to limit this iteration of relief? That makes no sense. How can you advocate to limit the relief that people are getting while simultaneously talking about literally how people did not get enough relief? Like, okay, oh, look at those long lines at the fucking food banks. Well, that happened because he said the people making any money don't need it.
I'm grateful that we're finally acting.
You're on Twitch.
You would have looked pretty out of touch and callous had well, if you don't act still. It hasn't happened yet.
We would have looked like stupidity on steroids, was my line. But I'm glad that, frankly, it took this bipartisan group to break the gridlock. It is not a perfect.
I think it's about what is passable. Yeah. Is that why? Because if we conceded to the insanely out of touch demands that the Republicans were making months ago, as so many people were advocating to do so, guess what? There would have been no direct relief. And now Mitch McConnell himself is personally advocating for direct relief because Democrats, shockingly, for once in their fucking entire lives, decided to center their advocacy and their campaigns in Georgia around a simple policy position. You will get $1,500 or $1,200 in direct payments if you vote for the Democrats. Wow. All of a sudden, Mitch McConnell was like, oh, well, I guess we got to fucking do something. Turns out this fucking idiotic himbo on Twitch has a better understanding of how fucking politics should be conducted and how campaigns should be run than motherfucking six-figure salary Democratic wonks and policy writers, okay? Wow, turns out when you tell people that you're going to give them money and who is limiting them from getting the relief that is a necessity for them to survive, people start thinking differently. Wow, that's weird, dude. What a wild moment, dude. That is crazy. That is crazy, dude.
Bill,
Yeah.
but at $900 billion, this is a lot of aid for people in need.
I hear your frustration on taking that money out of unemployment benefits. What about state and local funding? Because some of these municipalities, if they don't get any money, they're going to be laying people off. People will be out of work without funding.
Listen, I was a former governor. I know how important this assistance is. Matter of fact, 1.5 million state and local government employees have already been laid off. We had $160 billion in for state and local government, and I wish we would have had another day or two, because I do think there was some appropriate liability protection that should have been put in place for responsible businesses. But the idea that we would...
Some liability protection should not have been put in place for responsible businesses? The fuck does that mean? Just say what liability protection is across the board. It's disgusting. It's gross.
Bar people from even having a day in court if they've been harmed by irresponsible action was just a bridge too far.
So a lot of you, most of you, are working on this COVID relief package.
I know what's wrong, but passability is important. My friend, passability is important is fucking insane when the other side is not arguing on convictions, but simply arguing against it because being obstructionist is beneficial for you. So passability is a silly argument. Passability is a self-defeating argument. That is so stupid. The reason why ideas change and things become passable is because you fucking apply public pressure. You advocate, you agitate, you allow people to understand, okay? You allow people to understand that better things are possible and you should expect them. And the reason why you can't get them is literally because of the Republicans who refuse to give it to you, because they see any compromise, any bipartisan proposal put together with Democrats as a threat to their future in Congress, because they're worried that a more conservative is going to primary them. Or at least they say that they're going to do that, or that's a fear that they have. Okay?
Keep primarying neolibs.
Stop with this passability is important nonsense when you yourself are seeing that theory fall apart in action in front of your fucking eyes. 3 months ago, there was no direct payments. 3 months later, when direct payments are at the center of the Georgia campaign, all of a sudden, Mitch McConnell is literally like, oh, well, I guess we got to do direct payments now because it seems like they're hammering us. Mitch McConnell just had a conversation with congressional Republicans in the Senate. In that conversation, he openly admitted that they are going to get hammered in Georgia because everyone is now talking about payments.
America is a joke.
Do you get it? Do you understand? Do you fucking understand? So that's why I criticize Democrats. Republicans might be demons, but they're doing what benefits them. Democrats have to provide an actual counterforce. They actually have to advocate for direct payments so that they are at the forefront of the conversation, so that is one reason for why you should vote for the Democrats. Okay? And when that becomes a thing that Republicans are afraid of, because now that might actually cause Republicans to lose Senate races. Well, in that situation, 100K Andy, by the way. Congrats. What do you mean 100K Andy? Where am I 100K Andy? That's when you're now talking about direct payments.
Package, but then you have your college.
Let Mitch McConnell deal with the Republican caucus.
On Johnson.
Okay? Let him whip the votes. Why are you trying to do his work for him? Sorry, hold on.
Holding a hearing in the Homeland Security Committee on election integrity. What's going on over there?
Congrats on 100K subs on YouTube.
Hello,
What
Ajan.
do you mean? I'm about to hit 400K subs on YouTube. What do you mean? Did one of my clips channels hit 100K on YouTube or something? Is that what you're... Oh my god. Oh my god. Which one?
Well, there's obviously still some of my colleagues, both in the House and the Senate, who refuse to accept the reality that Joe Biden won the election. I actually think it showed the strength of American democracy. People turned out in record numbers. And I know one of the hearing witnesses was Chris Krebs. Chris Krebs ran CISA, which is the organization that protects our election machinery. He, even though he was a Trump appointee,
An actual counterforce would be voting against Pelosi a la Jimmy Dore if you're against passability, even though I agree with you about that. What are you saying, dude? What are you saying? This is so delusional. Like, voting against Nancy Pelosi on a purely symbolic bill that people could literally just as easily vote yes on because they know full well that it's not going to pass in Senate is not going to give people anything. It's not going to give people Medicare for all. It's going to give people crumbs. It's not even going to give people crumbs. It's not going to give people anything, okay? It is... And I've said it before, but like, I don't even care if they do it. If they do it, then I'll back them.
of course, he was fired by Donald Trump, but as a Trump appointee, I think he provided the most safe, protected election in American history. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that the vast majority of both Trump and Biden supporters participated without violence. I'm proud that the recount system worked. There's obviously a sore loser caucus that I think will keep...
You're calling it sore loser. Hold on.
Chest.
That is, I think, it's underestimating the damage that's being done. Senator Josh Hawley was on another network this morning saying he wasn't ready to say that Joe Biden was the president-elect. He wasn't ready, as if there is evidence out there that something happened during the election. There is no evidence. There is no evidence. It hasn't been brought up in court anywhere. The Supreme Court didn't take the case. Other courts have thrown out the case.
We got to move on from this. Look, everyone is trying to still jerk this. You know, they're trying to milk this cow for whatever it has. You know, they're like, let's keep talking about this because it's like one of the only things that you can. It's one of the only things that you can talk about. That is like galvanizing. That is getting all of the liberals and the left together. But it's so silly. It's like, come on.
There's no evidence that has come to support the president's claims, and yet you have senators and you have a number of House Republicans backing the president. Isn't this a lot worse than just being a sore loser?
I love you all.
I 100% agree with you. There is no evidence. I'm the vice chair of the Intelligence Committee. 30 days out, we were afraid of foreign interference. We were afraid there might be violence on Election Day. We were afraid Americans, because of fear of COVID, might not vote. None of that happened. Violence didn't take place. Americans turned out in record numbers for both Trump and Biden. We stopped the foreign interference. The election was safe. The machinery worked in terms of recount.
Are you talking about the news cycle or the Republican Party? No, news cycle. Like galvanizing is in enthusiasm demonstrated by every single fucking person. Like, persuading people to take action, take notice. This is the only thing that literally fucking unites the audience, is because Trump bad, Orange Man bad. So they're just gonna keep fucking milking it as best as they can. It's done. It's over. Stop fucking. Even having this conversation is like, is making it more serious when it's not.
Jimmy Dorstansby like, let's get the lady who said we damn.
A Twitch spokesperson has provided a statement on using terms such as simp, insult, stating that using these terms on their own wouldn't lead to an enforcement, but we would take action when they were used repeatedly in a harassing manner. I fucking told you, dude. There's no way. I told you there's no way. They would have never been able to do that. Like, that would have been insane. Oh god, you're just trying to hype chat?
Love you, small.
With this topic again?
Daddy.
Yeah, I'm still going to be really ban happy going forward, though. I think that's the right thing to do, regardless of what we're doing.
Our judicial system stood tall. Again, I'm trying to be generous to some of the folks I work with, but I think
Senator,
are looking pretty foolish in the eyes of most Americans.
you know, I worry that generosity is not getting to us to a good place where we're all not, where we're all accepting just basic facts. Senator Mark Warner.
There is, but again, let's just remember, thousands of election officials, Democrats and Republicans, stood up and did their jobs.
Yeah.
Judges who were appointed by Republican presidents stood up and did their jobs. Yeah, there are a few outliers out there, but I think this was evidence of strength of American democracy.
Okay, I don't care about this. Shut the fuck up, stupid. Okay, again, stimulus check of $600, $700, not enough. Unemployment weekly boost of $300, not enough, but still not the worst thing. $325 billion-ish for small businesses, $257 billion for PPP. There are billions idled for venues and restaurant funding, and state and local funding is out, and liabilities out. Liability out is good. State and local being out is fucking insane, especially because Republicans have made it seem like, we are not going to bail out California, and we're not going to bail out California. We're not going to bail out fucking New York and shit like that. Here's the reality, okay? Here is the reality. I hate to do this because it sounds like fucking, bi-coastal elite supremacist attitudes, but blue states give more than they take from the federal government. Red states do the opposite, okay? If you force blue states to fucking if you force blue states into bankruptcy, you fuck over the red states. You dumb, smooth-brained, delusional Republican asshats. Okay? If you do not help blue states in their time of need, specifically on political partisan lines, then they will not be able to help bail out the red states in every other fucking year. Okay? What the fuck are you doing? What is this argument? There is no short-term gain, by the way. There is no short-term gain. The specific reason for why they don't want to do this is because they want to look like they're putting up a political fight. Okay? That's it. They want to look like they are putting up a fight against Democrats. And this is easy and digestible for the fucking hogs to understand. To draw partisan lines and get the hogs on the ground to be like, hell yeah, brother, this is fucking great. Yeah, you're right. Fuck the demon rats. When in reality, the real reason why Republicans don't want to fucking negotiate with the Democrats is because they don't feel the need to. They already got all the corporate expenditures out of the way. They already got the corporate stimulus out of the way. So they don't want to give the poors any more money. And yes, the poors include the hog poors in the hog red states. Okay? It's so stupid. No reason to choose, but if you put me up against the wall, I say unemployment first and state and local aid over checks though too. What is, and David is right on this, as he is right on most things. What is most important here is unemployment insurance. That's number one. Eviction moratorium is another one that is supremely important. Okay. I disagree on the checks. I think David thinks checks are less important than state and local. PPP in its current form. Like, in order of importance, it's unemployment insurance, state and local funds and help, direct checks for the American people.
So
checks hit differently politically.
Waiting for you, just a crosshair, just
and then PPP in its current form. So you checks first because we need the money for other stuff won't go away, but the checks are because we need the fastest disbursement. I think checks are politically a useful thing as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe you guys have information that goes against what I have seen so far and what I've read, but unemployment insurance immediately gets distributed back into the economy. It gets used immediately. Unemployment insurance is the most useful distribution. Whereas, from what I understand, the singular checks are not as useful because it goes to people over 100,000 as well. Now, this is neoliberalism in action. Means testing the checks would be bad politically and would be bad policy regardless. But from what I understand, the people that have gotten the $1,200 have not used it as much as the people that have gotten the unemployment insurance. There's a way around it. What is the way around it? You fucking give the people the money and then you tax them afterwards. If you want to means test someone, you can fucking means test it on the taxing side. You can ask that money back. You can even put conditions around it. You can literally be like, hey, if you didn't use your $1,200 check, then boom, we are going to tax you. If you want to incentivize the utility of that check, people above 100K should get checks too. Tax the wealth. You can give them all the UBI you want. There was a salary cap already in the first direct payment, but from what I understand, the $1,200 direct payment wasn't utilized in the same way that the unemployment insurance was. The unemployment insurance is out of the question. Like, that additional payment was one of the most effective and one of the best possible forms of wealth distribution. Like, that is the most utilized money. It's perfect. It also technically does have built-in means testing anyway. You can just raise the amount or make regular payouts so that there's more economic security. Not that I think that will happen. No, it won't. What the fuck is $600 going to do, lol? Dude, guys, $600 a week is an insane amount of money on top of your unemployment on top of the unemployment payments that you're getting. What are you talking about, dude? It is really fucking good. It's so good that it's better than every other fucking country on the planet. Like, it's better than Norway, motherfucker. It is unheard of. That's what we got originally. That's what we got originally in unemployment insurance. It's not every week. No, now it's going to be $300 a week. The $1,200 was cool, but I still have my job at the time. The unemployment is massive. In before anecdotal Andy. No, don't worry. It's not just an anecdote. I think it's a one-time check, not a $600 UI step up. No. The original $600 was a unemployment insurance, additional unemployment insurance. But not only that, But now the unemployment insurance is going to be reduced to $300, which is still good. It's of course $600 would be better, but it's still good. But as far as direct payments and $600, yeah, that's bullshit. It's nothing. It's nothing. Yes. Unemployment insurance goes directly to the people who need it most. Unemployment insurance is most likely to be pumped back into the marketplace than direct payments. Yes. Unemployment has run out in a lot of states, though, like Texas, so it's just to replace that now. Yeah. Trailer park rent is literally $1,500 a month. Wait, really? What? Where is the fucking trailer park in Malibu? That famous trailer park in Malibu? What the fuck? $1,500 a month? Get the fuck out of here. What do you mean? You think Hell's Kitchen is a trailer park? Trailer park in fucking Maui? Where's the trailer park? Wait. What? $300 doesn't cover rent in New York City. How is it good? Oh my
Hassle,
god.
hassle.
Okay. There are actual trailer parks in Malibu. I know. I think Pamela Anderson lives in one or some shit.
Your head is normal size. You finished Yakuza 0 and DS3. The 9/11 thing was a joke. And people took it out of context. Your gaming streams got me buffed and girlfriend too. Can I get unbanned now? Arjan Pogo?
Not yet. Okay. Rent is monthly and the stim check is weekly, so multiply 300 by 4 equals 1,200. Yes, 1,200 a month is good.
Has capital.
It's still good. Not all poor people qualify for unemployment. I know. I'm aware of that, which is why you also have to have some form of UBI, at least for the duration. No, it's not the trot guy. It's the chances poop pants. I forget what he said last. That made me ban him, but the BBB is a scam. My company got it despite sales being greater than last year. It was just a direct flow through of $400K into my owner's pockets. A lot of people fucked with the PPP. Like, Chargers took advantage of it. So many fucking companies took advantage of it. Did not distribute it appropriately. There was no regulation for it. We already knew that was going to happen. I criticized it, and I'm not the fucking smartest person, but I literally fucking criticized it. Unemployment qualifications can be pretty restrictive, especially in some red states. I know, and some red states like Florida, for example, make unemployment as difficult as possible on purpose, and admittedly so. They literally have a made-to-break website for it, specifically so that it's as difficult as possible. And then their dipshit governor, Ron DeSantis, could go on television and be like, yeah, it's supposed to be hard. You're not supposed to get it. We don't want you to get it. Because they're disgusting. It was a literal $500 billion slush fund and fire the inspector general. Yep. And I know who has an investment company under his name, got PPP and flipped it in stocks and paid it back already. Yeah, that's why so many of these companies literally got whenever they got called out, they had to give that back. They had to give it back and be like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't even use it," which implies that they didn't even need it to begin with. Let's watch.
Shout out.
Georgia.
That's right, spread the word. We did it one time, we're going to do it again.
Call it Shout Out the Vote through the neighborhoods of Columbus, Georgia.
Your voice, your vote matters. You have power.
Latasha Brown of Black Voters Matter and a caravan of buses weave through Georgia's cities.
We're just going through the neighborhood.
As early voting kicks off for the state's 2 Senate seats in the January 5th runoffs.
The job is not finished.